if I held two tuning forks in my hands and I struck one, and it begins to resonate with the sound, and I brought this one close to it, within several inches, this one would begin to resonate without even making physical contact. It resonates with the vibration here. That is a metaphor for empathy. And I think that engagement with children requires an empathic approach, which is an approach of feeling with the child, as opposed to a sympathetic approach, which is feeling for the child. It is natural and normal for most adults, when they see a child in pain or in fear, to feel sympathy for that child and want to embrace the child and to make all of the bad feelings go away. And sometimes that is ameliorative for the situation and is very helpful. And there's nothing wrong with that. But therapeutically speaking, and there is a therapeutic component to what we're talking about, the proper approach is empathy, which again requires sitting with the child and getting a sense of what their tune is, watching the child. Again, you and I, we would have words. We could tell each other what we're feeling. But we have other sense modalities that can be very useful in understanding what a child is going through and what they're trying to communicate. All of that said, every child has a different tune. Quite literally, some children, the door ajar is music. With some children, it is painting. With some children, it is dance and physical movement. It's a mistake for us to have any kind of an agenda with any particular child and bring that in like, oh, I have all these crayons or chalks or paints and draw a picture. Because many children, especially traumatized children, will not know what to do with that. And any kind of physical movement is an opening for the possibility in their minds of further hurt to themselves. Again, it's a process of slow, empathic understanding of what the child is interested in. I think the proper approach might be to provide a variety of things, not too many, because that can be overwhelming. And then see what the child might pick up. I have found when working with children that sometimes clay is an excellent modality of play. I'll sit down with a child, I'll have a ball of soft red clay, and I'll just form it and knead it. I won't make anything, because a lot of children are very concerned that they can't make something perfect. That's work to make something perfect. We're talking about play. So we have to play to sometimes demonstrate to the child that it's okay to play, which is a challenge for some adults, because we've been taught that at a certain point in our lives we cross a threshold from play to work. But there's always the child inside. There are always the indelible memories of our own childhood. And being with children brings that out in a very informed way. It's not immaturity, it's a kind of mature childlikeness. Anyway, sitting with the child, I'll have some clay and I'll be kneading it, and the child will have a ball of clay, and we'll just see if they pick it up. And then maybe I'll smell it, or I might taste it, and they'll see that. They might think that's a little funny. As soon as there's a smile, as soon as there's a giggle, and there can be, in even the most traumatized child, that moment of delight, because it's waiting inside to come out, just peeking out. And sometimes we have to invite that by being playful ourselves. And then it's not unusual that the child begins then to play with the clay or the other materials that we might have. A little, what do you call the little instrument that you hit with a xylophone, or whatever it might be, a drum, a rattle, just something, a rattle, a drum, just beating some time, and the child becomes interested. But to just repeat one more time, every child has their own tune, and it's up to us to be creative enough to provide the opportunity for them to engage.